Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel Brains and Beauty. Today's video is a little bit different. Rather than filming myself playing with makeup or even making makeup, today's video is going to be a bit more of the behind the scenes. So specifically we're going to look at how I organize my makeup wish list and then also decluttering it because the sales are coming up really fast, and if you look at the end here, the total amount for my wish list here is about $2,300, which if you saw the video that I posted earlier in the year where I went through my entire makeup collection, that's like doubling my makeup collection in terms of its cost. So we're not going to be doing that. I have a bit of a system here, so you can take a look. There's a bit of a summary at the end, but I have it broken down into sections. So first I have the really new things. So these are kind of like within a 2-week span, I might get really interested in a certain product and then I don't want to buy it immediately because I'm not sure if the reason I want to purchase it is because it's just new and it feels like shiny and sparkly and different, or if it's actually because it's a good product for me and my collection. So the red zone is stuff I will likely never purchase when it's still in the red zone, like when it's still new on my wish list. Then I have the 3-month trial. So during those 3 months, the hype usually has died down in the makeup community, so that's not affecting me, but it still feels pretty new to me in my head. So I still like to wait a little bit, like something really has to be special and different and valuable in my collection for me to justify buying it while it's in the orange zone. But once it gets to the blue zone, that's it. I'm just literally waiting for a sale or something, but I could just purchase it if I wanted to at that moment. It would be a very good decision. But usually I'll still wait for a sale because that's just the way I am. I usually actually wait all year until this time of the year where there's the Black Friday deals, there's the Boxing Day deals. So that's usually what I wait for. And so anything in this kind of deep blue is like, go ahead, you can buy it, like it's done its time, like 12 years in Azkaban sort of thing. So this I can purchase. And then lastly, cost of future purchases is something that was in the blue zone, but after all, I just decided that I really needed to wait a bit, even though it's a good product and I would probably really enjoy it. There was one reason or another why I'm choosing to wait. So that's kind of what this light blue category is for future purchases. So today we're going to be decluttering all of these, and it's kind of an anti-haul as well because some of them are recent things that I could be hauling, but rather I'm choosing not to purchase them. For me, my main reasoning is the cost. So as you can see here, these total up to quite a high cost, and we all know it's actually pretty hard to pan makeup. So I don't want to have that kind of guilt or that negative feelings attached to a growing collection. So that's basically the gist of it. We're going to go through my makeup wish list. We're going to talk about each item. I'm going to throw up some pictures on the screen over here while we talk about them, and then I'm going to try to do a pretty brutal declutter. Like, I really want to cut this down a lot so that as soon as the sales start, I'm not tempted to buy anything that's not on the blue zone over here. So let's just get started. Actually, there's one thing I do need to update, and which is why I wanted to film this. So the left kit I actually already purchased. So I'm just going to take that out. So we're starting off actually with a total of 2,128. So yes, the reason I wanted to start was because I was actually waiting for the left kit. I've had this on my wish list for about a year. So it's been in the blue zone for a long time, and I really am so happy that like I finally was able to grab it. I was just waiting for the Boxing Day sales at the end of the year because those ones are the best for Moxie Lash. I kind of monitored all of their sales all year long just to see, like the previous year, just to see which one's the best, and usually they have 50% off of their kits on Boxing Day. So that's like the best time to purchase any of their magnetic lash kits. But what happened is they had like a flash sale on Halloween where it was 50% off of the kits, and I already knew that was the best deal I was going to get, so I was like, okay, purchasing it right now. So I already got this, but as you can see, the sales are starting to come in even earlier than you usually anticipate, so that's why I want to really go through this wish list and start decluttering it. So let's start with here. While I was browsing, putting the left kit into my cart, I was kind of like, do I want anything else from Moxie Lash? And like the Worthy Lash was really like tempting me, but I didn't want to purchase it right away because again, I hadn't had it on my wish list. So I was like, I can't do that, you know? Like, I really wanna sit with it, I don't want it to be a rash decision. So, it's still in the new section, I can't bring myself to remove it yet, like, it's that new that I'm like, I need to wait with it a little bit, so I'm just not gonna remove this yet. We'll keep this one for now. The Be Perfect Antidote palette, oh my gosh. Okay, I really fell in love with this one because it's like the perfect fall color story. Like the reds and the greens, it's like every kind of green that you could want. And the reds, there's also this gorgeous variety of deep reds and everything. And there's even like a neutral bit to it. Like it was just the perfect fall palette. And I was seriously considering purchasing this one. It's like they do big palettes right. Every single shade is really unique and different, and there's various levels of depth and texture. It was so pretty. But I did watch Kat's review, and she didn't find the quality to be good. And then I saw the video, there was a clip she posted in Beauty News. It was one of their episodes talking about this, and basically it turns out that there was like a video of two girls who had purchased it, and then they were doing like swatches right beside each other, and one was really high quality and one had no pigment at all. And so basically there's inconsistencies, and I cannot, go through this whole process of being so careful about what I bring into my collection, and then it just ends up being a poor palette by chance. So I'm not likely to purchase from Be Perfect until, I don't know, they've redeemed themselves in some way or regained our trust. So that's going to be decluttered. Oh, the Cinderella palette. Okay. So I posted a video. If you haven't seen it yet on my channel, it was my last video. I actually made the Cinderella palette by mixing a bunch of eyeshadows in my collection. That's just part of my Make It or Buy It series. And honestly, it was probably one of my favorite palettes. Like, I don't even want to take those like magnetic singles apart because it's so much fun to play with. I didn't even think I would fall this in love with that color story. But this palette is something else. Like, honestly, it's so beautiful. So, I like, if someone asked me, do you recommend the Cinderella palette? I would say 100% yes. But I'm not going to purchase it because I already made it. I don't need to do that, but it was amazing. So I'm just going to remove it because I already technically have it in the sense of the color story. Let's see. So we have the Haunted Europe palette. This one was really interesting. I feel like it was just so cool the way they did the packaging and everything. That's what really, drew me in. But just because I can admire a palette and I can like see that a lot of thought and love was put into it doesn't mean that I need to put it into my collection. So I'm going to take this off, even though it was a brilliant palette, to be honest. It's a mood. Like, I don't need this ColourPop palette. Okay, Indie Retro. I feel like because I was saying in the summer that I really wanted a burgundy palette from Natasha Denona, when she released the retro, I was like, okay, so she basically released what I wanted, but it wasn't exactly it. Like, I kind of wanted her Xenon palette, the small one. Like, I'm just waiting to see how she'll make the meaty version of that because I really wish there was a very cool tone palette with burgundies. Like, that's what I really want. And this isn't it. It has a lot of pinks, and I already have my Huda New Nude palette, which is all the pinks I need. So yeah, I think I'm ready to take this off. Ooh, this one's really pretty too, but this one's, again, it's like touching on that cool tone. Like, I really want those cool tones, and it's so pretty. But again, I have those cool tones in my Smashbox Sultry palette, so I don't need this. I'm gonna take this off. Okay, I think I might need to keep this one on just because this is the only Adept palette that has really drawn me in. Like, the other ones, the color stories are nice, but nothing that makes me really passionate. But this one has like plums and olives, so it's really been pulling me in, and I love it so much. So I just want to keep this here within the 2 weeks and really see what happens, what develops for my feelings with this. But yeah, just gonna keep it here. And then the Illumination Mascara. Oh, this one's so hard. Like, this one's entirely because of Lauren May Beauty. Whenever she brings up this blush, I'm like, that is the blush that I really want. It's like a pastel peach blush. Like, I don't have anything like that. I really wish I had like a pastel peach blush. So it just looks so perfect, and I don't know. I keep putting it on and off, but every time she mentions it and I see that in a video, I put it back on, and it's like, I'm just gonna keep it for now. So we're keeping that. Okay, so we brought this down to 142. I feel like that's still a lot. Maybe we'll do another look through when I'm done, but let's move on to the orange section. Oh, this is hard. Glow Lust. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Listen, if I was ever going to purchase a liquid cream glowy cheek product, it would be this, 100%. But at the same time, I've just come to realize, like, I know everyone has been crazy about creams for the last 2 years, but I just haven't given in because I don't see a point to it. I personally don't have dry skin, I have normal skin, and it's just the thought of putting something thick on my cheeks, just no, it does not make me feel happy at all. So putting anything cream there, I just don't like it. For me, having glowy cheeks, the easiest way to do it is what started before the cream phase started. Like everyone, before they started going to creams, they were really into setting sprays, right? Like if you guys remember that stage, that was the perfect stage for me because setting sprays that are glowy, if I like spray them on a sponge and then tap that over my cheek, there you go. That's a perfect glowy cheek. It's lightweight. I don't need any heavy cream. So I'm like sticking in that realm. I don't see a reason to switch to the cream side. If I ever did though, it would be Glow Less, so that's why it tempts me. It's like, what if this will be the one? I didn't try the Charlotte Tilbury flawless filter for Hollywood something something. You guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I didn't try that one, and so this one, like, just it's better than that and it's everything that anyone could want if they wanted this type of product. So I really am curious, but I don't know. Is just curiosity enough? I don't know. Maybe let me just keep this one on. But I think I'm gonna take off this one because I just know that I'd much rather two jeweled Cliona multichromes than this shadow. So it was like the best one out of the three that she launched, and for me, like the color wise, in Ego, because it's like this smoky green. But yeah, I just know. I think the reason why I had this one on, now I have to remember because these are kind of old when I put them on. So this, I had it on because Bat to the Brow used it. She said that it prevented creases, and I thought, ooh, that's pretty cool. But, I mean, I don't deal with creases. That's not a problem for me. So while it's interesting, I don't see a reason to have that. Um, this is just a basic rose lipstick. You know what? I recently got a free sample of the Pillow Talk, and that is the perfect rose shade. So I actually don't really feel anything toward this anymore because I already have that now. So yeah, I don't need this. Legit lashes. Oh, I think this is a mascara. Okay, this one's really making me curious because it's supposed to be a mascara with the same formula, but two wands within like the tube. And so I'm just so curious because people always say like the wand matters and it changes how a mascara, applies. And that is like the perfect way to test that. Like I don't know if that's actually the case or not. Like I've never felt that way myself. So I'm kind of curious just to see like if the same formula feel like actually has a different impact on my lashes. It's almost more of a investigative desire with this product. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it for now for that one. Mini Love, I don't see. I don't feel anything right now. I'm not even sure why I have this on here. Like it's a pretty pal, but I don't feel anything for it right now. The ABH Iced Out. Ooh, this keeps going in and out of my wish list, but I feel like it's time to remove it. I have the other ABH highlighter and the Amrezy one. That is my favorite gold highlighter. Like it is just so stunning. I get so many compliments when I wear it, and it's so beautiful. Like I love that one. I have the Fenty Beauty one that's white, but I wanted more. That one's like very glittery. Like I wanted just like a true shiny white highlighter. And this one has a shift of gold and white. So I think I'm going to take this off. Stila, okay, I think this is their Glitter and Glow. When I first started getting into makeup, these were so popular, and I never let myself purchase them because in Canada you can't see them in stores, and at the time, I wasn't comfortable shopping for makeup online. Even though they were like a desire for so long, I never ended up purchasing them, but recently one of my friends bought one of these, and like it just reignited my desire to at least try one, like once in my life. So that's why this is on the list. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there for now. I still have feelings for it. I'm gonna let it sit. Be Perfect, we already talked about it. I just don't trust anymore the formula. The Blendless palette. Ooh, this one's so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm just like I have to I have to keep it on here. This might end up being one of those things where after 3 months it goes to the blue section, but then I put it in like the bright blue section for very future purchases. Like I'm not gonna purchase a rainbow palette now when I still have my NYX rainbow palette But once I use that up, this would be a great one to purchase. So that will be probably a couple years in the future. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep it for now. It's freaking bats. I don't know. I love this, but at the same time, the thing is, I love this because it has all the shades that I love, but I had already searched for and purchased previous to this palette coming out. So I can actually dupe this palette pretty well, except for the chartreuse shades. Everything else I can dupe. So it doesn't make sense for me to purchase this palette, even though it's really beautiful. So I'm going to take it off. I might even insert some swatches just to show you guys, like swatches of the shadows that I have that would dupe it. But yeah, there's no point of me purchasing this when I have those. But it's a beautiful palette, like for sure. Okay, this one has a whole story behind it, okay? So Kat is doing this whole series, one of the best series, like you really should check it out. I'll leave a link down below because she has so much lipsticks and doing that kind of huge, massive like review and declutter at the same time. It's just amazing. So definitely check that out. But one of her videos, she was wearing this like olive lipstick and my heart was like, wow, that's so nice. Even though like I'm a basic like pink lipstick kind of person, I just couldn't help it. I was like, that's so pretty. And then I ended up going and like smudging some olive eyeshadow on my lips just to see how that would look. And like that just led me down a rabbit hole of being like, okay, like I know that if you mix a green color corrector with your foundation or your concealer, it actually makes it suit you better if you have olive undertones, which I do. I have light olive undertones. And so I was kind of like, well, what if I bought a green lipstick and mixed a touch of green into all of my lipsticks, like when I put them on my lips? Like what kind of color would it create? I'm just so curious now to be like, would it shift things to actually look better with my skin tone, like all my lipsticks? It's just, yeah, you know me, my passion for mixing things, and then also my curiosity now about whether this would actually look better on olive skin. It just led me down a route where I was like, okay, what kind of green lipsticks would I buy? And this is the perfect one because Fenty Beauty, this lipstick range comes with very little product, so I wouldn't have to be worried about panning it. I feel like it comes with little product anyways. It's a very creamy type of lipstick, so it'll be easy to mix in. And then it's actually on a really discounted sale right now. So I think it might be a good purchase. You guys let me know. What do you think? Should I get this green lipstick or not? Anyway, so I'm gonna keep that on. I'm still kind of excited about it, so let's just keep it on. Okay, Silent Night. I'm purchasing this 100% as soon as this goes on sale. I think by the time you see this video, I would have already bought it, hopefully. I really want to get it on the pre-order. This is like the perfect palette for me because I made the Myrte palette in August and I really made it for those dark reds, dark greens, and dark blues. And then, and that's actually have like already hit pan on the dark red from that palette. And I've been thinking like, do I want to buy a single shade of a really dark red? Like, I've been really thinking back and forth. And then the moment that Laminatrix released like I think in September, it was like just the packaging of Silent Night. At my heart, I was like, oh my god, that's gonna be the best holiday palette ever. So like, and I think I literally left a comment where I was like, if it has a dark red, a dark blue, and a dark green matte, and then like a really sparkly shimmers, it would be the perfect palette. And then she released actually pictures of the palette, like the color story. It was literally that. Like, it was a dark red, a dark green, a dark blue, and then there's this really sparkly white, like white and flecks of gold kind of shade for fairy lights. It's so stunning and it's perfect because I've been searching for that. Like I know that I have a really sparkly white in the Fenty Beauty highlighter, but I haven't because it's like a putty formula. I wasn't able to ever mix it into any of my shimmer eyeshadows when I do the kind of make it or buy it. So this is like the perfect white shimmer eyeshadow that I've been looking for to be able to, add some sparkle to any other color. So like I've actually been wanting to purchase something like this. So already like 4 of those shades are literally things I've always wanted to purchase. The fiery like red sparkly shade is something I've been hunting down for like years as a red eyeshadow. So like that's already like almost the entire palette is something I'm looking for. The gorgeous multi-chrome that's like a green to purple to blue to pink, like I am so excited for that. That just looks stunning. So definitely want that. I think it's just like the orange shade and the gold shade. They're just kind of like, I have that. But I think they really work well with this palette. Like the orange shade goes really well with that copper red, and like the gold shade, it's basic. But what I've learned from panning is if you have a shade that is like a basic really pretty neutral shade, you'll reach for that palette more and thus reach for all the other shades more. So I'm like really happy with this palette. I couldn't have even made a better palette myself. So like I'm definitely purchasing this. 100%. I know it's a bit in the orange zone, but it's limited edition and I feel like I am still making a very informed decision because I had the Myrte palette and, already played with that and loved that. And so while it's only been on my wish list for 3 months or less than 3 months, these specific characteristics of it I have been wanting for way longer than 3 months. So definitely fills that hole in my collection. So I'm keeping that. And then the UV primaries. This I'm probably gonna also purchase during the sales. So maybe Black Friday or Boxing Day. By then it will have passed the 3 month mark. What I want to do is I actually want to get that primary palette and then I'll do a whole video on it, but I'm thinking of mixing those primary shades to make a bunch of different liner shades. And then that way I can have like magnetic liner pots to put with my magnetic palette so that each palette can kind of have like the eyeshadows and then also a liner with it, if that makes sense. So like I'm really excited for that. I haven't seen anyone do that and I really want to do it. I just think because I don't even have that extensive of a liner collection. I actually ran out of my black and I don't have much else. So this will be a great way for me to have an extensive eyeliner collection by just buying one palette. So I'm really excited for this. This is going to be a really nice one to purchase. So I'm keeping this on. Ooh, okay, we weren't as brutal in the orange section, but let's move on to the blue section. So this has quite the backstory. Basically, I mean, this has been more than a year on my wish list at this point. I keep going back and forth between should I buy it now? Should I buy it later? Should I never buy it? I just don't know. It's like, the thing is, I want this makeup organizer so badly. It's one of the most beautiful makeup organizers I've ever seen. It's just so gorgeous and simple and minimalistic and just perfect size, perfect everything. I think it would look so cute on my desk. But the thing is, when I first put this on my wish list more than a year ago, I didn't have my whole setup that I have right now. So I actually bought later on after putting this on my wish list and after finding it and falling so deeply in love with it. I actually ended up getting some glass cabinets for my room, like display cabinets. And now that I have that, I'm like, I don't really need this because I wanted like an area, like the cabinet that's part of this organizer where you can open it up, display things, and then also keep them dust free. So that was the thing that really appealed to me for this makeup organizer. But now that I have like a whole display cabinet just for my makeup, I don't need this anymore, and my makeup is not overflowing and I don't plan to buy a huge amount where I would need another organizer. It's just kind of a want that I really want. Like maybe in my head I'm like, well, I could repurpose my top drawer for something else and keep all my makeup in this organizer and in the display cabinet. But it's just, I don't know. It's not a need. And I think that's why I keep waiting. And it was so expensive because the only place I could get it on was, I think it was when it was $100, it was on eBay. Now that it's been like more than a year, this item is available on Amazon. Yeah, so I don't know about this one. Maybe I should move it to the blue section. Maybe in the future. Okay, the Winky Lux 3D Rose Blushes. Ever since Hannah did her video on these, I still want them with a huge passion. Like, these are so beautiful. I not only wanted to purchase one, I wanted to purchase one for every single girl I knew. Like I was like, they're so pretty. Like they totally give me Beauty and the Beast vibes. But what I want to do with them is I want to pan them, but like pan them petal by petal. Like, can you imagine? I just want to do literally an entire panning project, just panning this blush petal by petal, like, and showing you like a time lapse. I will say though, at the same time, I also wanted these M Cosmetic blushes with the same amount of passion. And I was like, that's it. Like these, because they're so cute. They look like little nail polish bottles, but they're so pretty. And then they come in a lot of gorgeous colors. So all three of these were really tempting me when I put them on my wish list. Actually, about a year ago now. Yeah, I put them about a year ago. I didn't purchase them during the sales because I was just like, it's too soon. It's too close to the sales where I wasn't sure if I would be purchasing them because they're just new to me or because they're actually great products. So now, a year later, I can actually say 100% I'm buying the Winky Lux blush. Like, that is happening. I'm buying one for me, and I might purchase two more for friends. Like, they're just so giftable that I may as well. I was thinking of purchasing multiple shades for myself, but at least I've calmed down a little bit, and I'm just going to choose one. I think I'm going to choose Dodgy, but yeah, I'm just going to pick one up for myself. So yeah, that's staying. These two, however, actually I'm removing. And it's because I had the Physicians Formula liquid blush, which a lot of people have compared to these two as being like an identical formula, and I actually really loved that one. But it went bad so fast. Like literally in less than a year. It like completely like it smells off, so I don't feel comfortable using it. And I'm thinking if that formula did that and it was in a pump bottle, how fast are these gonna go bad? These two, I'm just not sure I can trust when they'll go bad, and I just think the setting spray, like the glowy setting spray, is a better idea for me personally. So that's that. Yeah, I'm not purchasing this brush organizer. this this brush organizer is probably the only thing on my list where I have been angry the whole time that it's been on my list. I'm like, why is a plastic thing with a lid to it $40? Why? Like that doesn't make any sense. It just very much irritates me, but at the same time, I really don't want my brushes to get dust on them. I used to have them on my dresser, even if you see the video where I do a bit of a tour of my entire collection at the beginning of the year. Um, I used to have my brushes on the dresser, but I have now moved them into the display cabinet. I know that they're taking up a bit of space there that I would rather display other stuff, but at the same time, that's a better solution than paying $40 for this. I'm just not doing it. So that's off. Okay, Ofra. This is so hard. This is so hard. Like I said, I've been watching beauty YouTube for many years now, and I've always wanted to try an Ofra highlighter, and I never got around to doing it. And I was sure that this was going to be the year that I would try the glazed donut. Like, I was so sure that I was going to do that because, again, I really wanted a very white, shiny powder because not only would it be nice on the cheeks, but also I wanted it for mixing into eyeshadows to make them more sparkly. But now that I'm going to get the Silent Night palette, I really don't feel like that's like necessary in terms of the eyeshadow aspect. I still would want to try over highlighters because I want to know what that super blinding formula that drove everyone crazy for years is like. But yeah, right now, just with the whole situation when they were canceled and stuff, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm gonna be making a purchase. Yeah, it just doesn't sit right with me. So we're taking this off. And then this is, I'm actually removing it. I mean, again, it's Ofra, but I'm just removing it. I do want to say, like, I keep telling myself I really need a red liquid lipstick. Most of my lipsticks are actually bullet form, and I love that form the most. But in my head, if I were to ever get a liquid lipstick, it should be red because red is the one that if it, smears around, it'll be harder to work with. So whenever I want to wear red lipstick, rather than worrying about like, oh, okay, is it going to smear, is it not? Having a liquid lipstick would be a really good way to avoid all that. But I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking like that's the justification in my head because I hear it so often from YouTubers and, others who wear red lipsticks. But I've never had an issue with my red lipstick smearing. I just wear like the Ruby Woo from MAC. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. And I also have a lip liner that I bought so that I also wouldn't be worried about this issue and whatnot. And it's like, why am I worrying about something that never actually was an issue for me? So I'm just not gonna do that. Like I'm done with trying to find the liquid lipstick that won't budge because I don't have that issue. I don't actually apply lipsticks thick. I kind of like the blotted look, to be honest. So yeah, I guess maybe that's why I don't have to worry about them smearing because I don't usually apply a very thick layer. Yeah. Okay. That's that. And then this one, so again, another thought that I've always wanted is I want a metallic red lipstick. While the metallic formula of liquid lipsticks or lipsticks in general is not something that's very flattering, there's just something so special to me about a metallic red. Yeah, I think I might keep this on here just because I still want a metallic red. I just don't know. You know what? Actually, I might take it off just because for a long time I actually didn't like glosses. But now that I've gotten into glosses, I feel like I would choose that over a metallic red. So I'm just at that stage. If I ever want a metallic red again, I can always put it back on the wish list. It would just have to go through the whole process again. And you know what? I think that's fine. So Now we have the Color Fix Foil. I think I was really interested in this one because of Hannah's video where she was like, what is the shiniest shadow? But I don't know, I'm just not feeling anything towards it anymore. Like, I have other really beautiful shadows. I think I'm gonna take this off. I just don't feel for it what I felt before. It's just, there's like this gloss that she uses for the cheeks and the eyes, and I was just really curious about the look. Like, it looks so beautiful in her posts when she does the glossy eyes and the glossy cheek. And I mean, again, it was a gloss, so when I purchased it and I put it on my cheeks, it looked absolutely horrible. My skin has never looked worse. Like, it's like it almost gave me texture that I didn't have. It was just the strangest thing. On the eyes, it was kind of fun. You know, it was fun to try that out. But it was sticky. So every time you blink, you felt the stickiness. So yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was thinking like maybe she formulated something that was not sticky but glossy. Yeah, I'm just not as interested in her products as much because I'm like, you know, I guess like what is this gonna be? Like when I think of the Dew Wet Balm, I thought it was gonna be something like, again, like it looks like a balm, but it's not a balm. Like it doesn't have the downsides of being a balm, but I feel like it's probably literally just gonna be a balm, you know, for the cheeks. So I don't think that's not really what I want. So taking that off, blending brushes. So I actually, yeah, I didn't put an exact one here because I kind of just put the amount that I'm willing to spend on them this year. That was kind of why I put this here. And I think I'm gonna hit my yearly like allowance and not have enough to spend on brushes. I'm getting the Winky Lux, I'm getting the Super Beauty, I'm getting the Silent Night for sure. So I know those three for sure. So I don't know. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, and then also actually I know this one for sure as well. So I'm not removing this one. So this is the Shroud Cosmetics Creepy Q palette. I've been waiting to purchase this for a whole year, and the only reason I haven't is because it hasn't been in stock. It's an small indie brand, and she's pretty backlogged with the It's Freaking Bats palette. Like, that took her a while to just get through all those orders, and now she's waiting for a new packaging for Creepy Cute. So she said we'd be able to purchase them this fall, but like it's still not available yet, and I'm kind of scared because I really want these. Like, I love pastel matte eyeshadows, and this palette is the perfect pastel matte eyeshadow palette. I bought my other two pastel matte singles with that in mind, that I would purchase this palette, so I didn't want to dupe anything out from the pastel matte singles that I bought from Terra Moons. So like I've been waiting for this just to complete my pastel mattes. And I know I could make pastel mattes by mixing, you know, colorful eyeshadows with white, but there's something about these pastels that are different. They're more vibrant. That's hard to make yourself, and it's hard for brands to make even. So I feel like she literally has the only formula that actually is a bright pastel matte palette. So her palette is perfect. Like every single shade in there I actually need. I don't actually have a really dark matte black. That gray shade I also would really like. Because I feel like it's like a cool tone gray that I could mix with any color to make a more muted version of it. So I look at this palette and I see that it is literally ideal for me. So I'm just waiting for when it hits the market again, and I'm going to purchase it as soon as it's available. In terms of the Glaminatrix U Beauty palette, this whole year I feel like we didn't get that many nice eyeshadow palette releases. It wasn't until September hit, and then like every single brand wanted to release an eyeshadow palette, and it was just like intense, and a lot of them were actually really nice. So September and October were intense months with like a bunch of really nice new eyeshadow palettes, but throughout the year nothing was really that appealing except for this palette. I like watched every single review video on this palette, the swatches, everything. Like I have dreamed, I have fantasized about having this palette because it's just the perfect palette. There's something about Glaminatrix and their color stories that just hits home for me perfectly. Like it's as if I were to make that palette myself. I think it's because it has the three kind of primary mattes, but it's not just like, it's not in your face primary, so which can kind of be off-putting. It's kind of just like the muted blue, but also there's the red and then there's the yellow. It means that you can make any kind of matte color by blending these on your eyes, and they are so blendable that you can do that, you know? So that's the part that gets me in terms of the mattes. And then the other two mattes that they've selected, the mauvey purple and that kind of like sagey bluey green, those are my favorite muted colors. And the two like iridescent shades, literally so gorgeous. They're like from Terra Moons, the Red Giant and the Phoenix. These are really similar to those. They're not exact dupes, but they're very similar. And so again, you're getting that same like really special multichrome vibe from this. And so I really wanted this, and it was just so special, but I decided not to get it because, like, I have Phoenix and I have Red Giant, and I could make that muted purple and I could make that muted green, and the red and the blue and the yellow are just primary colors. And so all that's left, and also that blue shade is literally the shade CL from Cliona that I have. So really all that's left is just a yellow that shifts to blue, which I really wanted, and um, I guess that gold shade. I do have multichrome gold, but like that one is a bit different. Those are that's basically that. And I'm like, I think for my collection, I don't need to get this. But, you know, nothing in my collection, like if you were to ask me, get rid of everything in your collection, what is the first eyeshadow palette you would buy? If it's like from your collection again, like repurchased, I don't have an answer for that because I don't feel like any of my palettes work alone. I always have them kind of together. My real answer to that question is if my entire eyeshadow palette collection just got destroyed, I would purchase this palette because it feels like the only thing I would ever need. If I was like just to keep one eyeshadow palette, it would be this palette. Like that is why I have such a hard time letting this go, but I need to let it go because I do have my collection. So I don't need this. this hurts. I mean, I'm getting the Silent Night. I don't want to be too sad about that, but yeah, that's that. Whew, that was so hard. Do you see all this empty space? I think this was the part that I really had to be intense with because this is the most risky part of what's going to happen during the sales. So I know I'm getting the Creepy Cute. I know I'm getting the Winky Lux blushes, and then I mean, I don't, maybe this is not a good idea for me to just put something like this as a placeholder. I think I'm gonna take this off. All right, we are now here. When it comes to the Hourglass face palette, it's one of those things that I also wanted for so many years because you hear about all the time on YouTube, and that is really nice even on older skin because I use all my makeup on me and my mom, and so I thought it would be just a stunning powder, you know, in blush form, bronzer, highlighter, and everything for the skin. But I think what was most appealing to me was actually the ambient lighting powder. So I purchased that last year, and I decided if I really liked that and it was worth it, then maybe I would pick up a face palette. But to be honest with you, my first impression was actually a bit disappointed. It wasn't everything that I thought it was, and then I was kind of like, well, maybe it's something that, you know, it's one of those products that you can't see it on yourself how beautiful it is, but it's something that other people will give you compliments on, and like they see it when the light hits it at a certain way, you know what I mean? So, and like the thing is, we've been in the pandemic for the past year, so no one has been seeing my cheeks. So I was like, okay. So I haven't come to a full conclusion on how I feel about that, but for the price and for the hype and for everything, it didn't wow me enough. So I have no interest in purchasing the face palette, and then also there's the whole issue with Hourglass. For those with deeper skin tones, they kind of faked an ad that sat really poorly with me. In terms of these Etsy palettes, the thing is, I have them in this section because I really want them. They're so beautiful. They look so like vintage and just gorgeous. And I have it kind of split here because I was like, palette and then the shipping. Like, I think it's the shipping that's also holding me back because it's not that the palette is that expensive, but it's just that the shipping is so costly too. And right now, I don't need any more magnetic palettes. I mean, I could use one more, but just I don't think I'm going to purchase this for myself, to be honest. This would be lovely as a gift from someone, but this is not something I feel like I could justify spending that much money on. So, should I remove it? Will I ever feel like purchasing this myself? You know what? Right now, I just don't. It'll have to go through the whole process again, I think. Okay, right, we moved this makeup organizer down. I still feel like I'm going to purchase this eventually, just it's not yet because I don't need it right now. So, that's the same with these two. They're kind of like I think it's really the packaging that's getting me with these, but also the colors. Like they're just perfect neutrals, and then the packaging is so gorgeous. Like ever since this launched, I've wanted it for that packaging being so beautiful, and then it just being really nice neutral browns. Like it's just perfect. There you can't go wrong with this one. So yeah, I think when I pan all of my neutral shades, then I'll allow myself to purchase these two. So I'm keeping them on. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, we really, like, I really went through this. I think right now, what are we at? So that's not bad at all. That's like almost a quarter, like about a quarter of what it was. So that's really good. And then really the ones that are high risk in terms of like, I guess how much I'm actually spending is mostly this section. And then you might be wondering, okay, so Rima, where is your single eyeshadows? So, you know how like when you go to a restaurant and you order a meal to fill you up and yeah, it's like a great meal and you eat it and you're full and you wouldn't eat any more food, but you always have like, that extra stomach for dessert. So that's what single eyeshadows are to me. I basically have a different wish list for the single eyeshadows because they just work differently in my head. So they are not part of I used to have them part of this makeup wish list, but it was just a mess and it would always kind of turn me off because I think of them in such a different way than I think of all these other makeup products. So let's jump over to that spreadsheet. There won't be much decluttering because again, it's not like that for that sheet. So I'll switch over and we can take a look at that before we wrap up the video. And yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this. I mean, let's just see my actual total for fall. Okay, so my total makeup fall spending would be 173 during the upcoming sales. And this is not sale priced. So all of these are going to be discounted. Now, most of the time, then the taxes will bring it back up to 173, but you know what I mean. Like, I think around 170, 150 is what I'm going to be spending for my makeup wish list. And then from my single eyeshadows, I'm going to be spending around maybe 150 at Cleona and then around 40 at Terra Moons. So around 200 for the single eyeshadow indie brands, around this much here. So yeah, about $300. I feel like $300 is how much I have saved because I have saved my monthly budget throughout the year knowing that I will spend most of my money around this time on these products. So yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable for me for my budget and for this being my passion. But yeah, I hope you guys look forward to those videos and reviews coming up for these products. And I hope you enjoyed kind of just decluttering this wish list with me, hearing my thoughts on these products and just seeing how I've organized this. I think that I switched to this method because I was realizing that, like, yes, I could have a wish list on Sephora and a wish list on all of these different websites, but none of them tell you the total cost. And I feel like the total cost really puts into perspective what you want. And, if you're inspired by this way of organizing, it's really easy to do so just on an Excel sheet or a Google spreadsheet. But yeah, I think this just really works for me. Let me know how you guys organize your wish list and how you go about decluttering that wish list or really like honing in on what's the thing that you really want to purchase during the sales. I think I actually really like sales. Like, I think they're a good way for us to be able to get products we love on a discount. But the important thing is remembering that we shouldn't be purchasing things that we wouldn't have purchased if they weren't on sale. Like, that is the one thing you always want to keep in mind. And that's why I have this whole process because these are products that have spent time, past the 2 week limit, past the 3 months, and they're like in this zone where I've really reflected on them. And honestly, I would purchase them without a sale, but I'm just waiting for it because I may as well get a discount. So that's kind of, I think, the ideal way for us as beauty consumers to take advantage of sales and not let them take advantage of us. So that's all. I think I'm pretty good now in terms of what I'm planning to purchase, and I'm pretty happy with this. I'm really excited to get these products. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and there will be quite a few reviews coming up on my channel soon. Bye!